I would never go out. I barely went out. I would stay at home every single day. My routine was that I go to school, come back, and from 5 to midnight, every single day I studied. That was it. We grew up learning math, learning science, but you don't learn how to learn. That's also an art, that's also a science. You don't realize, but a lot of your opinions are not actually your opinions. You think this way just because you heard that growing up, it just becomes subconscious, but that's not actually your opinion.
Mahreen, is winning important to you?
For sure.
Mahreen Munir is the founder of M3 Studios and the host of Karak with Mahreen podcast. In this episode, I asked her what winning means to her, and let me tell you this, I did not expect how much of great discussions that would come out of asking her this one single question. We spoke about her childhood, we spoke about friendship, and I also asked her about what was her formula for getting top grades while in school and during uni. This episode is packed with great discussions. Do not miss out on this one. Alright, before we kick off with today's episode, one single favor, please subscribe to this channel. I'll truly appreciate it and it will help me bring you more and more high performers to this show. This is the High Performance Mindset and today's guest is Mahreen Munir. Enjoy this episode. Mahreen, is winning important to you?
Oh, we're like starting. For sure. I think I'm very competitive. I think that was the one thing growing up that my siblings hated about me, but that was just like a strong thing in me that I was very, very competitive. So for sure.
Are you the eldest?
No, I'm in third child. Three out of 4.
So where do you think that came from?
I think probably
For you?
one from school. I think doing A levels, doing GCSEs, being in such a hardcore competitive environment, like it was very competitive in the sense that our teachers instilled in us that even if you get like one score below, like that's a huge problem. And I still remember when in I think it was my AS or my GCSEs, my math exam, everyone expected that I would get, so this is GCSEs, this is Cambridge exam. So the teachers expected that I would get full, like, maybe it was like out of 90, so 90 on 90. But I didn't. I got like maybe 86 out of 90. And it's so funny that I'm talking about it now. It feels so childish, but I still remember how big of an impact that had on me. And I was so like disappointed in myself. And then you can appeal if you feel like you didn't get the right score. But usually people appeal if you get like a B and then you want to get an A and you feel like you got, but I like, obviously the grade I got was great, but I think I felt like the score wasn't right. I wanted to get the full. So I was like, should I appeal? Should I not? I think I should appeal. But just thinking about that now makes me realize how crazy invested when I'm so invested in something, I go so crazy about it. So I think school, but also my parents. So 2 factors played a role in it for sure.
All right, we'll tackle both, but let's go back to you getting 86. So did you appeal or you didn't?
I didn't. In the end, because I talked to my parents about you have to pay to appeal. And I was talking to them and I'm like, should I appeal? Should I not? And they were like, if you really want to, you can, but they kind of made me realize that you're being kind of irrational. Like you don't really need to appeal for this, because you usually appeal if you want to change a grade, but I already got the grade that I wanted.
So
I was just not satisfied with the score, but the score does not matter. You still got the grade, but I was still so mad that I didn't get that score that I wanted, which is like, now that I think about it, is crazy. But in the end, I didn't appeal.
How did you process it? Like, because clearly it made an impact that you still remember it till now.
Like obviously I cried. And number 2 is that I just felt very anxious, which I remember feeling.
To be honest, like I always used to laugh at, students.
Like this. Now that I think about this, I would laugh at myself.
No.
But
At all. Right now, I wouldn't laugh. That's the difference.
Oh.
Like before, I'm like,
this is ridiculous.
there's students who get 98 and then, because they didn't get 99, because 100 is impossible, of course, but because they didn't get the 99, they're crying and I'm like, man, if I could just get, give me just 20,
Just like
I would be
one
so grateful and over the moon,
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up with these softies, like, But no, I think it comes from, one, you will not achieve that if you don't obsess over it, right? And you try and think like, who are the ones who made us think that obsessing over something is bad? It's only average people.
Wow, good point.
Only.
But
Tell me
then-
one high performer is like, don't obsess over it. Take
True.
it easy. Yeah.
True.
If they do that, then they just want you to lower the gears so they can pass you.
Yeah. Or
'cause
they
that's
just want you to like slow down and be at their level, which is the lower level.
No, I'm saying there's no high performer who would tell you that unless they want you to go down so they can pass
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Or if they're manipulating you, for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to you, I think it made an impact, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I just want
You're
to
like, there's something
understand.
wrong with you, but I'm not gonna say it.
No, not at all. Like, I think that mindset is what keeps you improving. Because as soon as you feel like you've arrived, that's exactly the moment that you start going backwards. It's like a tide, the moment you start paddling,
And you
the
feel
current is
satisfied.
taking you back. Yeah. There's no sitting still. Doesn't
You keep
exist.
going.
The current,
I
takes
love
you
that.
back.
Yeah.
So going back to you, how did you process it that you were okay to move on? Is it that your parents made you feel better, or you found a way?
So I
'Cause
think
clearly
when
still hunting you a little bit.
I think like so the reason why I say that now I make fun of it is because I realize that obsessing over things is not the problem, but sometimes obsessing over the wrong things is the problem.
Ooh.
And I think that is what took me a long time to realize. The way I realized it came in like now, even now I'm still figuring it out, but it came in years later. But during that period of my time, I felt like this is my path. I know I have to score this and I need to perfect it and I need to ace it. And that's the only thing that I'm meant to be doing at this stage of my life. So for me, that was a big deal. And the way I dealt with it, I think at that age also, I think I was, I was 15, probably 15. Yeah, 16 maybe. So that age, I also didn't know how to process emotions. That's another aspect of it that I was still learning how to manage these emotions. Because if I felt like I was in a place where people wouldn't understand me, like no one would understand why she's obsessing over this so much that she's like making it such a big deal that she's crying over it, that she wants to like pay to appeal for this. Like no one would understand that, like even now that I think about it, I'm like, I also don't understand that now. I do understand why I was like that, but I know I wouldn't do that now. In that scenario, in other scenarios maybe, but but that was also another aspect of it, that I constantly felt like I had to process these things myself. Like I couldn't openly talk about it because no one, like people
No one
would,
could
no one
relate.
would get it,
Unless there are other students who are on the same level of
Yeah, the other students, I would never talk to them about it. That was,
That's the thing,
yeah.
that you're talking to your competition, basically.
Like,
Or
of
what?
course I was friends with them for sure, but I could never talk about something like this, that it made such an impact on me.
Because you're ashamed that you lost those,
Yeah.
and you feel you're less than them.
Yeah, for sure. Even if I got higher than them, I would still not talk about it with them. Like I think
Why?
in my batch, that was the highest probably in the girls' batch. Maybe it was lower than
Why do you
1 point
feel?
lower than the boys' batch. Maybe. Why do I feel like I couldn't? I think whether the person was lower or higher, I still felt ashamed to say it to my peers, whereas I was,
Like it's a weakness for you to discuss that?
yeah,
That you're struggling with these.
things with
That you're
my
not
peers, especially because like my peers were the ones who would come to me for help, and I loved helping people. Like I would be studying till probably like midnight, and then 12 a.m. to like 2 a.m. I would be responding to everyone's questions on WhatsApp or wherever, because I actually like teaching, or anywhere that I could help, I would love to help. If I know something, why should I not share it? So I also loved doing that, but I would not share my personal struggles or my personal challenges with whatever I'm going through, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, and it's very. I personally find it's like a thin line where you're over. Um, I don't know, vulnerable or over asking for help,
Mm, that's
and
probably true.
where you rely on yourself to figure things out
Mm,
and not keep sharing what you don't know. You're giving yourself time to figure it out on your own.
yeah.
There's a thin line, where you should be and how often you should um, ask
Ask and when
and
to
how
not.
and not, yeah, exactly, and
Such a
just
good point. Yeah.
figure it out. And this is like, I think, the dichotomy of being a leader who's, you know, open to discuss. Um, I think you should always be humble enough to say that you don't know.
Mm.
But at the same time, between you and yourself, you also shouldn't allow yourself to just keep asking whatever just pops up in your head
Head.
without giving yourself time to figure it
Learn
out
and
and learn. Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
There's a balance to it
there's a
that
balance to it.
yeah.
And that's the reality, that's happening in our heads that no one knows,
Yeah.
when you're managing a team, or if you're, let's say, helping your friends or your peers.
No one really knows. And I think that's the beauty of asking for help. Like, there's an art to it, because you need to know when to do it, who to ask for it, and how often to do it. And it takes courage, I feel like, to even ask for help, because to ask for help means you need to admit that you don't know something, which unfortunately, because of ego, because of pride, a lot of people don't feel comfortable admitting that. Um, and for me, I think, I don't know if it was ego or pride. Of course, that must play a role in it. But also for me, it was probably the fact that one aspect of it, when I was really young, I was, everyone would call me very sensitive and emotional because I would cry over things. Now when I think about it, I used to, the things that I would go through, I didn't know how to process that. That's how I think about it. I didn't know how to process emotions. And so when people would say, oh, like she's just being sensitive, um, that's when I learned, okay, so I can't really ask others for help. I need to figure it out myself. This is before all of this. This is like much before that.
You know why I'm laughing? Because I feel I'm exactly the same. And
Okay.
it's like I went through the phase, or maybe growing up with my older brother, always laughing at me, oh, you're too soft, you're blah, 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 and then you have to like harden up.
Yeah.
But then you get to become a bit too,
There's too much of a wall in front of you in a
yes,
way, like,
where
yeah.
you don't share enough, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like opening up with new people. Like I love meeting new people. I love talking to new people. But even on my social media, I don't post things about my personal life. I would not showcase my personal life. I will always draw that line with new people and on social media everywhere. Um, and so that was probably because of the fact that maybe I felt like I was showing too much of my emotions when I was really young, and then I completely switched, and then I don't anymore, especially when it comes to my personal life. Um, and so that's why, like, asking for help, and I think now I'm much better in terms of when it comes to asking for help and things like that.
What do you feel helped you with that?
Probably when I went to college, that changed a lot of my, not my personality, but my character. It helped develop my character a lot more.
In which way?
And the in so one way is that, so I moved out of my family's house. I started living alone. One thing about living with your family, even though I love it and I love my family so much, but you don't realize, but a lot of your opinions are not actually your opinions. You slowly start realizing that you think this way just because you heard that growing up. It just becomes subconscious, but that's not actually your opinion. I felt like I started forming my own opinions and thinking and my own thoughts probably when I started living alone. Probably because I started spending more time by myself. Um, so in that way it helped, where I started realizing like I don't think I'm like sensitive. Like, I started thinking about myself and reflect. I would just believe what other people would say about me. I would not think of myself by myself, if that makes sense. So
It reminds me of it probably has been trending now a lot. She's an Olympian
oh yeah, I love seeing
skater
her.
or
Yeah, she's a ski I don't know what you call it, racer. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know her Aline, I think something like that her
Mm-hmm.
name is. Yeah.
And um, and they asked her like, how are you so thoughtful, in your
Responses and
responses? And she mentioned that it's because of she constantly analyzes her thoughts,
yeah, I love that.
and that if you can control your thoughts, then you can control who you're going to
Be
be.
Yeah, I love watching her videos whenever they show up, because
Videos or video. Like
like
there's
these
another,
clips, like I've seen a couple. I've
okay,
more than not just this, I've seen a couple of her
from her.
videos. Yeah.
Okay.
She's been trending for a while now, so but I think one is she's very articulate. That's why I like hearing what she says. But also, what she says makes a lot of sense, because it's not just your thoughts; it's also the way you think, um, and what you think about yourself. So it's two elements to it. Like if you think about learning, which we don't learn in school. In our school, we grew up learning math, learning science, but you don't learn how to learn. That's also an art. That's also a science.
How to be a good learner.
Yeah, that's a whole strategy and formula and science behind it. So these are things that I guess takes time, and people don't acknowledge that these exist. Like, so similarly for me, I never thought about what other people were saying. When I say other people, I mean like, family members, close friends, not people
The
outside of
people
that.
around you.
Yeah. So when they would mention certain things about me, I wouldn't reflect on it as much as I should have. I would just accept it. And when I started living alone is when I started questioning it a lot more. So that's probably where my development came from. Um, and then other aspects of it was the change in environment. The friends that I made played a huge role, like the way they pushed me to start. A lot of my friends pushed me to start Karak with Mehreen as well. So that environment shift also played a lot. Yeah.
Talking about formulas, I wanted to ask you, so you topped the UAE twice in economics in AS levels and in A levels, which
Hmm.
was it's graded by UK by Cambridge,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You doing it twice obviously is not a fluke. So what was
You're like, the first time could have been a fluke, but the second time.
the second time? Like, what was your formula?
So actually, now that I think about it, it was GCSEs and then AS that we topped, and then A levels. COVID happened, so that's why there was no topper in A levels. So it was the two, and then everyone was hoping. I was hoping personally that the A level would also happen, so it'd be three in a row. But then COVID happened anyway.
Two is not enough.
I still like. Oh, I wish. Anyway, that's just a funny little joke that I used to make. But so your question is the
Like, what was your formula?
formula to that.
If I'm a student and I also want to get, you know, a full grade or a top grade or close.
I think like when it comes to work, whether it's your business work or whether it's your the work that you're doing in the company or whether it's schooling studies, um, people complicate it too much. I think people overcomplicate it to the point where they think there's like this very, magic formula and potion that you need to take for you to be successful. But a lot of it is literally just consistency. I would never go out Like, I barely went out. I would stay at home every single day. My routine was that I go to school 6 a.m., come back 3 p.m. I would take a nap for 2 hours. Then I'd start studying at 5 p.m. And from 5 to midnight, every single day, I studied. That was it.
That's the magic
Like, there is
secret.
nothing like, of course, there are some prodigies that are like super smart already. They don't need to study. There's like, that's rare. I'm not a prodigy, but I was consistent. So there's no other shortcut for it. I still remember when A levels happened. And so when you're in your A levels or AS, you don't have to go to school for like, I think around 2 months. You don't go to school, you just stay home studying. Of course, a lot of people use that as like time off and
Yeah,
as a
which is
break.
it's a challenge on its own to now manage your
Yeah,
time
exactly.
or your
I preferred
distractions.
staying at home because I felt like I'd get distracted during that time in school, because there was nothing else to learn in school. The only thing you had to do was keep on doing the practice exams. So I used to do like, so usually you do the latest years, so that was probably like 2020, 2019. So you do 2019, 2018, 2017, the last 5 years. I used to take from 1999 all the way. Now that I think it was so funny, but 1999, if I could find it, I would have done it, all the way till 2019, whatever that year may be. So I did all of those years, and there are three variants of each year. So I would also do all the three variants of it. So there's again no formula. I was just going crazy, practicing every single paper I possibly could, and I made a note of every question I got wrong, and it was all in one book. So before my exam, the final exam, I would go through all of my mistakes, and I would make sure if I know the correct answer or not. So the point of this that I was saying was, oh yeah, A levels. That so 2 months you stay at home, you're studying at
How do you
home.
deal with you don't get bored?
Like, that's what now I ask this to myself, that like, did I get bored? Because now when I reflect on it, I think I enjoyed it. Like, I
Okay.
genuinely enjoyed the courses that I was doing. One math was my favorite.
All
So
of them?
not all of them. I did accounting. I think that was my least favorite. It was too repetitive. But math was my most favorite.
And how did you deal with, let's say, accounting, the one that you didn't enjoy? Because we can be like, oh, she just enjoyed all the studies and
No,
that's why she got high grades.
no, I definitely enjoy all of them. The way that I did it was, I would divide my day between two courses. So I had 4 courses in my last year. And so I would divide it between 2 courses. I would start with the one that I like,
Hmm.
finish that, and then the next one will be the one that I don't like. So I will, in one day, I do something I like and something I don't like. So I would always mix it like that. I would never put in the same day two that I don't like, two that I like. Instead, I will do one I like, one I don't like, one I like, one I don't like, or I switch it.
But do you always start with what you like?
I think that would probably change. I think I would probably start with what I don't like first, because the one that I don't like, just to get it over with, I would try to do that first and then go with what I like.
Yeah,
But
and I think with a lot of students, what happens is they keep strong at certain subjects
hmm,
and they stay weak at certain
the other
subjects
ones,
because they're always giving their first fresh energy to
to
what they
the
like.
especially when you wake up in the morning, you're like the
Now we
most
know,
active at that time. Yeah. So it's best, you would naturally just want to do
like
the one you
preparing for
like.
this episode, the
Yeah.
first thing you do is
Yeah.
tackle the.
Yeah. So but generally, I think I would switch it and try to do what I
eat,
don't like
eat
first.
the
Yeah,
big
the
frog
frog
first.
first in
Yeah.
the morning. Yeah, that's basically what I do. Yeah.
All right. You said the other part was from your parents.
Hmm. So my parents, if I think about my parents, they're very chill people. Like, they are very supportive, but also they're very chill. Like, you know
Are they
how
hype of like
my yeah, they're definitely in that sense. Like, my father is uh my father is a businessman. He's one of the most, like, the biggest business people I know. I got a lot of inspiration from my father. I started Karak with Mehreen because of my father. So a lot of what I do today is because of him. I'm very influenced by him in that way.
What would you say are the traits in him that you used to see as a child, maybe, that helped build your work ethic and how you look at discipline, or how you look at showing up, or the importance of constantly showing up?
I think one thing about my dad that I saw was that he had a very strict routine. Like even if he would sleep at like 2, 3 a.m., he would always wake up at like 6 a.m. every day when I was younger. And even though he would go to the office after I would go to school, but he would be up before me. So that was one thing about him that I saw probably subconsciously that must have played a role, where he was so strict with his routine. And he was also obsessed with his work. Like he would always be talking about his work. When he would come home, he would be talking about it, even if you don't understand it. He was always talking about his work. If when he would come home, one of his closest team members, he would be calling him, like talking after lunch, 2 hours. He's just talking to him, and I'm like, you just saw him at work, and now you're talking for another 2 hours with him. But he was obsessed. He still is. So probably that, I think I didn't reflect on it as much as you are now asking me, now that I think about it, but for sure it was his obsession with his work and his routine. It was so strict, and it was the exact same every single day.
And let's say if we look at your routine after school as a child, were they certain things you were doing you feel that helped you build good work ethic?
So after school, as in like,
Because at school, your time is controlled by
ah,
your teachers, by the school.
yes.
But after school, now it's on your parents and it's on you. It's like,
You mean like after school, as in when I graduated, or you mean
no,
after
no, no.
I'd come
After
back
school,
from
as a
school?
child,
Okay,
coming
okay.
back from school, yes.
So I think my honestly my routine,
Or your summer holiday. Some of the holiday
summers,
exposes a lot.
yeah, true. Summer was a weird time because I would feel bored if I'm not doing something. So I would always want to do something, and I would always try to come up with some kind of thing that I could do. So one of the summers I worked on, so I realized that I was born and raised in Alain, and in Alain we had a lot of opportunities for like science competitions, but I was into entrepreneurship and business. There wasn't a lot of business opportunities, so I thought, why not create something where I connect students to companies so that they could do like some kind of they could solve challenges of companies, and if they do well, then they'll get an internship at the companies, something, a concept like that. So I started that one summer. The other summer I
Like,
worked with
how
my,
old were you?
I was probably like, I think I first initially when I started I was again 14, 15, 15. I think it was 15. And then I paused it for a while, and then I went back into it again at 16, 17. Yeah. And then one summer I worked with my dad. Of course, if your dad's a businessman, he will always try to make you come to his work. So he did that.
How
Um,
old were you?
12, 13,
And
probably.
how was that impact on you?
Um, I think I know my I know what my dad was trying to do. He wanted me to learn, and I definitely did learn. I think it just gets repetitive. My problem is the repetitive component of it. Um, because it was only for a summer, it was only for a small period of time. So I was only doing the same thing over and over again because he wanted me to perfect that, which makes sense. Perfect that before going to something else. But then during that summer, I was just trying to perfect that it became boring. And then eventually I came back to school. So it was good, but it was also like I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do more. I wanted to learn something else. I think that was probably something that I struggled with during that time. But I always wanted to do something. And I'm not saying all my summers were productive, for sure not. Like after school, because I'm waking up at 6, 5 a.m., probably sleeping really late. So summers I would like sleep in a lot.
I remember my dad would not let me
Sleep in? Yeah.
No, like wake me up maybe 7, 8 a.m. Like most like 8, and then and I feel like, Dad, why are you waking me up? Like it's I don't have school. Like enough sleeping.
That's why. There's no other reason.
Go and read a book. You're
Read
reading
a
the whole
book.
year.
You're like, how much more do I need to read?
But yeah, I think there was this gap of work ethic, and we couldn't meet in between. Like he would want me at least, let's say 3 months summer holiday, at least the last month that I'll be studying, like preparing myself.
In the last month before school opens,
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah.
Makes sense as a high performer, but I was, I think it's important to take someone and build them up gradually instead of just trying to take them from a low performer to a high performer.
Like, just press up a button. I don't
Yeah.
think that's possible.
And I think that's what people don't understand. Like, it's just a stamina, and it's a muscle that
Yeah, true. It's a muscle.
you keep building and you keep growing, and it's not an overnight
Thing.
There are some rare cases where there's overnight switch where the student went from, I don't know, getting nothing to A's.
But I don't know. I still can't believe that it's overnight because.
I mean, that happened with my younger brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think like he was always getting B's and C's.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was grade 11. And remember my mom telling me, to speak to your younger brother. He's not putting in effort, because I know my parents wouldn't say anything if they see any of us putting in the effort. That's
if
it.
you're putting
They
the
just
effort.
want us to put in the effort, So there's always this battle where they feel there's potential, but there's no effort, and that's
Makes sense.
yeah. And I don't know what content of personal development I was consuming at the time, but I believed in the carrot. Just wave the carrot, and everybody has their carrot, and that would work. So I just told my younger brother, like, I think at the time, I don't know, probably it was PS3 or something. I told him, he was in Shuifat, and they have, I think, quizzes like every week. So I told him, as soon as you get an average A, I'm getting you PS3.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That was the bait.
It's nice to have an older brother who's working. So what was different about that comparing to what my parents were doing, and they've been doing it, they were doing it with me all of, my school years, is that they would tell me, end of the year, if you get an A, we'll get you whatever you want. End of the year. This was completely opposite. As soon as you get an average A, you're getting it. And these guys were having it like every week, the exams. So anyways,
more of an opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like this end of the year
goal
that I have to be
so far off. Yeah.
And I think within a week and a half since they started the semester, like the second week, I remember, my mom calls me and then tells me, your younger brother wants to talk to you. Shout out to Abdi Shakur. And then Abdi tells me, like, Hisham, I got an A. I was like, oh, wow, Abdi, that's great.
In a week and a half.
Yeah, because they already
are having so many exams.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I said average A, not 1A. It's like, yeah, I needed to get 5 to get an average A. I got 7. I was like, oh.
You were like this fast?
I was like, all right, I didn't have my money ready. So I was like, all right, end of the month. When I come back to Oman, I'll
bring it with you.
So with me. Stick to my word, and we went and we got the PS. And ever since, he became an A student. After that. Now, what I remember, the things that he changed is that when he wanted to achieve that A, he started asking the A students, what do you do to achieve? You know, how do you study? You know, that became a goal,
Wow.
you know? And when the goal or the carrot is so big, you forget about your limitations, your mental limitation, right? Depending how big it
So
is.
true.
And as a child, you don't have it as much. As you go on in life, you take a lot of, losses here and there. It builds these walls over your head, or mental ceilings. So basically, when he got that first average A, it shattered a lot of his mental ceilings. And I think that year, I don't know what was his average, but at least the final year, the grade 12, he basically got, I think, 94%.
Whoa.
And when he went to Arizona University, 4.0 throughout.
That's
And
crazy.
it just kept on, like,
Performing.
yeah.
really
And
well.
without this mental thing, like, let's clock in and see where we go,
Yeah.
So I think this is where we need to manage, with a lot of people who have potential, is how you deal with their mental ceilings.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes they don't have the potential, maybe, but a lot of times it's just that what you said is to get a person to be consistent. Like, I used to study, I think, yeah, I remember very clearly. Every semester, I go with my guilt, and I'm like, okay, this year, and I would go the first month, great, showing up every day. Second month, great. Third month, halfway through, I drop, and I burn out basically, and I cannot push further. And this has been happening, like, so I think, of course, we never knew anything about burning out
Yeah,
and any
obviously
of
the
that.
last thing that we're
Oh yeah, and another
thinking
thing I
about.
used to do is I used to get in the way of my dad interrupting how my brother studied. So I believe everybody has their formula. You know how, because
You
my brother
study.
would just sleep random hours. Like maybe he would go and sleep at 8 p.m. so he can wake up and study at 11, and
Oh
then
wow.
yeah, and then let's say at 9 p.m., he can just come out and start watching TV. And my dad is like,
What are you doing?
yeah,
Sleeping all day, watching
yeah,
TV.
watching TV. Or he didn't just, and my job was just like that. It's okay.
Let him be.
Let him be, let him do it his way. Let him do it his way. Because I remember that my dad forcing me to do it his way, which is like, similar to your way. Clock in from, 5 p.m. till midnight, sit on that chair and not move.
Yeah, that doesn't sound healthy.
I mean, I think I cannot say it worked, right?
Yeah,
So
it
it
worked
works.
for sure. It worked. Yeah.
Like, I remember I used to study, and I would put music, and let's say do my maths or whatever. And my dad opens the door and be like,
This
you're
is not studying.
you're studying or playing?
Concert. What is
It's
this
always, you're
concert?
studying or playing. And then I go and stop it, and then I can't focus.
Yeah, I also needed music when I used to study. Yeah,
Well, if somebody came and stopped you with that, maybe,
that would have been a problem.
maybe.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like everyone has their own way of working and studying. Like I don't think we can. That's why the way I say it for me, like 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. Of course, I would take a break in between for dinner. Um, uh, for me, it worked. I was
I
happily
would
doing
like
that.
to know, like, what was your way of not burning out?
Yeah, now like when you mentioned burnout, I was thinking about it for myself. I think
Did it ever happen that you burnt out or never?
I don't think I ever, maybe because I didn't know what burnout was. I never, I don't think I can remember me being like, oh, I'm so sick of this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I really cannot recall a moment like that. I actually liked, like whenever I would go out, I wanted to come back home and study. That sounds so sad, but like it was.
No, I mean, the thing that is so much of a challenge. Once you start becoming good at it,
You enjoy it.
yeah, there's this different kind of relationship, is built because you invested so much in it.
Time in it.
And
Yeah. Like I still remember when in my last year when COVID happened, and our exams eventually were canceled. But at that point, I was still studying every day. I was like, I don't think it's gonna get canceled. I was in denial. My father told me, like, you can stop studying. Like, exams are gonna get canceled. I was like, no, it's not. It's not officially announced. So I kept doing it because I wanted the exams to happen and I wanted to continue studying. So I still remember when the announcement came that it is officially canceled, no more these A level CIE exams. It was such a bittersweet feeling. Like, I was like, okay, like, I guess I can relax. But then at the same time, I was like, I don't know why I don't feel happy. Like, I was enjoying studying, but I was also stressed. Of course, you feel stressed.
Yeah, but how long
Did that?
close to the exam was it cancelled?
Oh, I think probably 1.5 month, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
If
I
it
felt
was
like
right at the beginning,
then you would.
yeah.
That's
But you
true.
had already invested so much, and you're like, this time I'm going to do even better than
Yeah.
last time.
Exactly.
And now
So
I'm not getting the opportunity to prove.
and also it was like to prove myself.
Yes, to
Because
prove it to yourself. Yeah.
So I think that's probably why I had such a bittersweet feeling of it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was stressful, but burnout, I don't know. I felt like I had enough of a balance. Like, I would still go out every now and then if needed to meet some of my friends or with my
You used to
family.
go out on weekends or no?
I would go out, like, not, I don't think I did it as much, but I would take breaks. I felt like I took enough breaks when I
Same
needed to.
day, or you take it like
Usually
on
in
weekends?
weekends.
Okay.
Usually on weekends, but sometimes if I really needed it on a weekday, and my parents, my mom and my brother, mostly my mom, like, she would really want me to take breaks. So, my parents would be like, "Oh, let's go. We'll have McDonald's or something." So I would be like, "No, no, it's fine. You guys go." So every now and then I would go with them. So I felt like I took enough breaks, so I didn't burn out. I cannot recall a specific moment of burnout, to be honest.
Yeah, but that also clearly you had already built enough stamina.
I guess so. That must have played a role.
Were you
But
always like an A student?
yeah, I guess so.
Like
But like
since you were a
since
kid?
I was kid, yeah, but
Yeah, that means that stamina was built like.
but I don't think it was like naturally there. It was probably that I think I just wanted to study. I was just consistent at the study component of it. My mom also, in the beginning, my mom used to make me study. So all of us, me and my siblings, my mom would tell us exactly at like what 3 p.m., 4 p.m. come and she'll force us to study. And so probably my mom instilled that initially in me until later on I was able to do it myself. So it definitely came from somewhere, for sure. But the point you said about the mental limitations is so true because I feel like we place these limitations on ourselves. A lot of people tell me that, oh, how can you study if you haven't gotten like 7 or 8 hours of sleep? How can you do this if you didn't, take a break? I feel like we put those limitations on ourselves. If I really wanted to do something, I would not care if my family or my friends are going out for dinner. Like, I don't care if I really want to do this. So, those limitations are placed by us on ourselves, and the only way to kind of come out of it, one is if you are also enjoying what you're doing, and two is that you have to kind of
Want it.
you also have to have that bigger purpose for yourself
Okay.
that you want to get to. So
Your
even if
why
it's
basically has to be clear
it's a
with
why,
yourself.
it's a why. Like, the reason why my dad probably went every single day without fail to work, one is that he wanted to provide for his family. He had a bigger purpose for sure. And number two is that he eventually started enjoying it. I don't think he enjoyed it in the beginning. Eventually he did.
Yeah, which we were saying a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing that
was boring and
yeah.
repetitive. Yeah. So I don't think he enjoyed it in the beginning, but eventually he did. So you need to have that bigger purpose in life for yourself, bigger than yourself.
Looking with my younger brother, he did definitely have a big purpose that was motivating him.
Yeah, maybe in the beginning it was something, for him it was bigger, but it was still like a short-term goal. But then after he went through that and he realized he can do it,
Yeah.
it became a bigger purpose. Yeah.
And another thing, like talking about the muscle of sitting there for long hours. Like, I never really built it as a student. And so I think till grade 4 or 5, like, I would just get, you know, A's and B's or just B's by, well, it was A's at the beginning and then slowly went to B's and A's. But this was happening by studying the day before the exam.
So you were smart. You were already
It
like
was only so
naturally
long
smart.
where this won't be enough.
Yeah.
And this is with anything in life. There's only so much where talent is going to take you.
Yeah.
At the beginner's level, hey, you can be a superstar as a talented person. But as soon as you go to a more advanced level, more professional level, it's like everybody's kind of talented in that. And then who has the work ethic,
To continue.
who has the right mindset to show up, all the time.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking at researching about Mr. Beast. We all know Mr. Beast, and like you can just take a guess. How long do you think it took him to get to 1,000 subscribers? Just 1,000.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Any like ballpark?
5 years?
Wow, that's actually pretty accurate. It was 4 years. But people, when they think of 1,000, like especially
Really? It took him 4
today's
years?
time, yeah, in the beginning, it took him 4 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. You can fact check this. I'm pretty sure it's 4 years. But
And I would also ask, like, how many posts he used to post.
yeah, I don't know,
Probably
but
he did a lot.
daily. I think he
Yeah.
used to post probably every day or almost every day. So that showcases the amount of discipline that's actually required to get to where you want to be. Like it takes longer than you actually might think. And I'm sure he didn't think it would take him 4 years, but he probably thought, I'm gonna be consistent, it's gonna work out. But it was taking so long and he still kept going. And now he's like the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Okay. I think this is a nice transition to your journey as a podcaster. If you were to go back to Mahreen while she's thinking of starting the podcast and she had doubts if she can be a podcaster or not, what are the milestones you would use to convince her that you should go ahead?
Oh, that's a nice question. What are the milestones that I would tell to my younger Mahreen?
Like you'd
my
go and be
younger self?
like, yeah, go ahead. You did this, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that.
Okay, nice question. Okay, so I think one thing that I remember my younger self was worried about was that I didn't like posting on social media. Like I didn't like revealing too much of myself on social media, but I liked talking to people. So I think that was a big nerve-wracking thing for me during that period of time. So I would tell myself that I know that's outside of my comfort zone, but it is so worth it because one, I was able to draw a line between what I want to post and what I don't want to show. You can draw that line. It's clear for me what I want to. And number two is that the amount of opportunities that you get out of this is beyond your imagination. You cannot, that's the thing about social media, is that you cannot exactly pinpoint and predict what will come out of it. Maybe you can predict number of followers, maybe you can predict number of views, but the opportunities you cannot predict it. Like I could not predict that I would end up doing a TEDx talk at 22. Like at this age, I felt like I always wanted to do a TED talk, but I thought it would be like much later in my life when, I'm an expert at something that I could talk about, whatever. But I did it at 22. I didn't think that I would meet so many big people like the CEO of TikTok and introduce Karak Chai to him, which is such a
Crazy.
fun moment. And I didn't think that a lot of people that I was seeing on social media in like probably a few months, I was not only able to meet them, but I was in the same rooms as them, meeting other whatever celebrities that maybe, or people that I see in movies, I would be interviewing them. So obviously, I didn't think that I would, be able to get these specific opportunities. So that's the beauty of social media. It's beyond your imagination. So it's so worth it. Like it everything was worth it. I didn't think I would end up starting M3 Studios, the agency, the people that I met. Everything is because of Karak with Mehreen.
All right. So how did Karak with Mahreen happen?
So Karak with Mehreen happened. I always tell the story of the exact moment when I started it, but actually now that I think about it, it was a few years before that. I started it in 2020, 2021, was it? 2022? I can't remember the year. 2.5 years ago. So now it's 2026. I think it's 20, what is it? 2022? Okay. I started in 2022, I think, or 3. You can check that. But it's almost been 3 years. And so 2 years before that, or even 3 years before that, my father actually wanted me to start a, not a podcast, because that time podcast wasn't that popular, like some kind of an interview style thing. And he wanted to post on social media. My sisters were already creators, content creators. My
Okay.
older sister
Interesting.
started, she posted fashion content. My younger sister creates like vlogs and funny content. I was not into that space, but I liked what they were doing. But I didn't think I would post on social media content. But my dad really wanted me to. He, for some reason, saw like podcasting as
Like you
this
being
will
a good interviewer.
a
A
converse.
specific
I think not more than interviewer. He
or
thought
like a
that I
talk
could.
show.
He wanted me to learn from other people, and I think he's like, this is the best way in which you can learn from people of different
So
industries.
true.
So I think more than interviewer is more about learning, and then of course being able to have better conversations, and then post on. He wanted me to post on social media. My dad wanted me to do that more than I did. But I was very uncomfortable. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. 3 years later, I was in my second year of college. I was very bored of university. I was in a like coming from A levels, which is like I was studying every single day. I had so much, it was very challenging. But university for me was relatively much
Chilled.
chill. It was so chill. Like it was crazy the shift for me. Um, so it was so boring that I was like, I want to do something. I want to put myself outside of my comfort zone. And the one thing that I know is outside of my comfort zone was social media, one, and being recorded and posting. But the thing that I liked doing was talking to people. So I was like, okay, I can combine two things together, something I like, something I don't like. I didn't plan to be a podcaster. That was not the plan. I just was like, I want to learn from other people and I want to share what I'm learning to other people. So why not create a page that does that? So it started like that.
What were the do you remember how long it took from the idea till the first episode?
Yeah, I think probably I would say like 2, 3 weeks max.
Wow.
It was like once I was like, I want to start this now. Actually, maybe I'll give it a month because I did actually go to a few studios in Dubai, see if I'm comfortable with it. So I would say a month.
So when you started, did you have the name yet or not yet?
No, no. So
Okay.
no, when I started, I did. But when I had the idea to start, that okay, that when I started going to the studios, all of
No,
this.
let's start from the name.
So name, actually, the name was probably like the day I created my page was the day I thought of the name. And that was probably like 1 or 2 weeks before I started posting. So it was all like in the span of a month. I recorded all of my first 10 episodes were recorded in a week. Like it was just I was like, I want to do this. Let me go. And I was gonna travel soon for a summer program, so I knew I had to do it now. That's why I did it. And so the name is another fun story because the name again my dad suggested Mojito with Mehreen, but I hate mojitos. And I felt like mojitos is like too whitewashed and westernized. So my younger sister said, you love chai and you like karak. Why don't you make it karak with Mehreen? And then we were like, okay, khalas, this is the name. I literally made the logo the same day. I made changed the Instagram username to karak with Mehreen, and we started recording like 2, 3 days later. And then I printed the stickers for my cups. So it was probably all in the span of 1.5 months, I would say.
I don't know if you faced this like in the early days of your podcast, that a lot of people are offering you their advice on how you should do your podcast.
Mm. Yeah, of course. There's people always giving suggestions. You don't have to take everyone's advice. Like, I think people
How are
like
you dealing with that?
I think I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of used to people always giving their advice in some way or the other. Like even when I was in school, when I was in university, everyone gives
How
you
you should study?
yeah,
When
or like
they're
what you
when
should
you're
be
getting
studying.
higher grades than them.
No, but like or like what you should be studying.
Mm.
I'm okay with if the advice is if the advice is coming from someone that I would take advice from, like my dad, my parents, like it depends on who it's coming from, but also like everyone has has some
Opinion.
opinion on what you're doing. So even when I started my podcast, everyone had an opinion on like do this, do that, but I just had to be laser focused on what I knew I wanted to do. um like even my family, they're so the people who will support you the most will also have a lot of opinions about what you're doing, and it doesn't come from a bad place.
No.
It comes from an amazing place, but you don't have to listen to all of the opinions. If you do that, then you will get overwhelmed and you will never be able to start anything or stay consistent at it. So yeah, people will always give opinions, but you don't have to listen to them, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of opinions when I first
Yeah.
started, but I the way I saw it is that I know I have great ideas, and it's too early right now to assess, and too early to make adjustments right now.
Exactly.
Like, look at the inside. But I'm like, I just have like, I don't know, 300 or 400 followers. Like, what are you looking at? Look at which topics, people are interacting with. I'm like, these numbers cannot be considered as stats.
Yeah, yet.
It's
Yeah.
not yet. So I was very fixated
Mm.
on having, yes, I'm narrow-minded. Yes, great, no problem. But in between me and myself, I'm like, I have to give it time to see what are the ideas that are working, and then later you're going to see that maybe certain things, yes, you should make some adjustments and blah blah blah. But at the beginning, yes, everybody's just offering you how. That's one. And two, I struggled taking advice from someone who is not an expert in
Mm.
their in the field that I'm
That
in,
they're yeah.
which it can happen. Like a good advice could come from a
Yeah, it
person who's
can,
not.
for
So you
sure.
should always keep an open mind.
Still be
Yeah, be
open to it.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done because there's a lot you need to filter through.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
everybody's like, yeah, you should do it like this, you should do it like that. Maybe black is not a great idea, because you want people to continue watching, or I don't know. Like everybody's like, you can't remember all the advices that people
Yeah.
are just throwing.
I think like it is hard to filter for sure. Maybe I filtered some great ideas as well. Like that's normal, but like I wouldn't know um until I actually see it through, right? And like one of the advice I got was, I think that you are showing too much of your opinion on your podcast. Like what does that even mean? Like the point of a podcast is to talk about your opinions and what your and the reason why the page was doing so well was because I was openly talking about, and she knew that opinion. It's because the opinion that I talked about, if I mention it was about materialism and how material people have become so materialistic in this world. And I've seen that in my culture a lot, where people, if I go and talk to, like, you go to all these gatherings with other Pakistani women, and unfortunately a lot of what they're talking about is just bags and makeup and brands, and I felt very out of place. And I was like, why is this the only thing we're talking about? And I saw that repeatedly, to the point where I made a video on it. And so there was this one person who, of a family friend, who commented, who addressed it to me, saying that, that's a good video, but I think it's a little too much to be saying that.
Oh,
And I think,
as in you should
yeah, like
not.
tone it down, like it's too real. Like that's how I saw it. I was like, I feel like what I said is completely true, you of all people know it's true, probably I feel like people, maybe they feel attacked by the video. That's why they have an opinion on it, or like that's why they want to tone it down.
And
Which,
I think this is, I mean, thank you for bringing this up. And this is any person who's like in front of a camera, whether it's a podcast or you're just content creator, is that, everybody wants to be liked, but there's a thin line where you're trying to be liked or are you going to be real,
yeah,
And if you choose to be real, that's where the impact is going to happen. But you should be ready also for dislikes and for people to decide to unfollow you.
yeah,
But you have to be clear why you're doing it. Are you doing it for the follows? Are you doing it for the likes? Or are you doing it for the impact that you see
that
that
you're making.
that you're working on? And only God can see that.
True.
Only God can see that. And it's not just the Pakistani
Culture.
culture that became materialistic. We Arab culture became super materialistic. I don't know who's more, but we're definitely at the top. One of the top performers there.
High
And
performers.
and it is sad because um there's nothing wrong with liking nice brands because of its
Yeah,
quality,
that's what I said in the video
because
as
of its
well.
quality,
Mm.
and a lot of times, yes, the higher brands, whatever, if it's a car, if it's a bag, if it's a dress, if it's there is a bigger budget invested in the quality and the production, right? But it's how you process it. If you're going to wear this brand or use this brand to enhance your you as a person, oh boy, you have a big gap, a big void inside you that you need to deal with. And it's just a matter of time where that will be exposed. And life is ups and down. There'll be a time you might not have, you know, uh, either the money or the situation for you to show,
Yeah,
right? And then
true.
we're going to see your true
The
colors. But your true
truth,
colors will come out.
for sure.
And if you did not work on it, then your ugly side is just a matter of time where it's going to come out.
That's why some people say that when you get a lot of money, it doesn't turn you into someone else. It just exposes something that's already in you and makes it more amplified, right? Like, I hate when people think that in order to upgrade yourself, you need to upgrade your brands that you're wearing and the shoes that you're wearing. That's not what upgrades you. What upgrades you is your character, it's your personality, it's your intellect. This
I
is
said, if
all
you want to, sorry,
external.
I'm cutting you off, but I mean, I just love what you just said. I think if you want to upgrade yourself, like truly, upgrade the people you spend time with,
Yeah, yeah,
your circle. And it doesn't have to be known people.
for sure.
It's just great, humans, and maybe so you can learn from everyone from different walks of life. But just great souls, people who will challenge you,
Yeah,
inspire you to be better. Maybe someone is
uplifting.
more giving than you are, and someone is kinder, or maybe someone is more patient,
Mm.
or I don't know. I feel this is the true leveling up, of
Hundred
your
thousand
character.
percent.
And none of these things people can see it outside.
Yeah.
Or, Mahreen, you leveled up. Like, no one can see that.
Yeah. A lot of the things that actually level up are things that are invisible. Like, for example, um if you are reading a lot more, people will not really know until you have a conversation with that person. Like, it will slowly show up in conversation, but it's invisible. Like, the effort is invisible, but you will see it in conversation that, oh, like, she's bringing all these different points, she's probably reading more, she's probably well researched. If you are working out a lot more, people don't see you at the gym, but they will see it later on that, okay, like, they're fit. So these are things that have invisible efforts behind them, but eventually they show up in like little ways, I guess. And the problem with uh the problem with this that people, when I talk about this, when I talk about materialism, like even when I made that video, is that people think I'm saying don't wear nice clothes, don't wear brands. Like some of the comments were like, oh, she's talking about materialism, but she's wearing makeup. Like I'm not saying don't wear these
It's
things,
not the
don't wear
point.
makeup. That's completely irrelevant. You like I also like to wear nice, good quality brands that I resonate with, very specific ones, but I resonate with. Um, the point is that do not obsess over this. This is not what will, you know, create your life and your personality. That's not what makes you a person. This is so external that you are obsessing over, and that's all you can think and talk about. That's the problem. So yeah.
What are the misconceptions you had about podcasting or podcast podcasters that you had before you getting into
Mm.
becoming a
So
podcaster? So
the thing is that the question is really good, but in order for me to answer that, I needed to have thought that I'm going to be a podcaster, but that's not what I thought when I started. When I started, I didn't actually think that I'm s- going into podcasting. I'm getting
all content creation.
okay, content creation. I think so. Your question is what are some misconceptions that I saw? I think I think the misconception that now I've realized is that people, like even I thought of content creators who are doing like lifestyle kind of content and podcasters or like educational content, like they're all the same.
Yeah.
I categorize everything as the same way. That's probably why I was so uncomfortable starting social media, because I categorize everything the same way.
And people advise you to be both.
Yeah, true. That's true.
I
Yeah.
was getting that a lot.
Yeah, that's so true. I do think that maybe I can, like people to, in order for people to connect with me, I can talk a little bit more about myself. But that doesn't mean I need to be like a lifestyle blogger or something for sure. And no hate to lifestyle bloggers, but so I think that was a misconception for sure that I categorized all social media content creators as one. But slowly I realized like there's a huge difference not only in the content but in the people, the personalities of the people who get into, these different routes. The mindset of the people is also very different. So that was a big thing for sure. And I think the other misconception is that it takes um is that I think for me, I didn't know when it would blow up. I didn't know when it would perform well. So when I started it, I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna be a week. Like is I think we're posting great content. And also when I was collaborating with people who were already big influencers in the UAE that who were so kind to come on my show in the beginning. So I thought, their face is on it, like we're good to go. So that was also another one that
Misconception.
that I realized. Like you can't rely on other people's faces. It's the
No.
content itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had those. Uh,
You're like, oh yeah, and you're like thinking of your own time. You're like,
this one.
true.
That one. Yeah, it helps. It helps that the
Oh yeah, it
person you're
helps.
collaborating has a
100%.
bigger platform or has a big
100%.
platform, but yeah.
It's the content itself that matters. Like I think a lot of my most viral videos in the beginning were of myself. No one knows who I was. Like I just started creating content, but those were the videos that were performing well because the
Okay.
topics were more important than the face.
I mean, talking about this, I keep getting advice. Hisham, you need to show more of yourself and create content about who you are. Like, what's your lifestyle like? And I'm like, do I really want to do that?
Mm.
And this is the part where people don't understand that podcasting is one thing, and you know, lifestyle content creators is a whole different thing. Some people can do both, and they're successful at it. Some people do it separately and are successful at it. You know,
I like if I look at the biggest podcasters, like I'm talking about Indian podcasters right now. So Raj Shamani, the Ranveer Show, Think School, these are really big ones in India. They, I feel like they have a good balance. It's all podcasting, but they don't show their lifestyle, but they open up a lot more about the experiences that they're going through. They reflect on it a lot
When
more
do they open up?
in stories or
Okay.
in feed posts. So I think they use other than reels. Reels is obviously going viral, getting audience, but you have other ways to nurture the people that are coming to you and connect with them better. Which I feel like I could have grown better if I used those. So I do feel like that's a mistake.
I don't like getting on the story.
On stories, you don't have to
Like lifting up, hey guys, nah. Like,
like
and I
that.
don't know if it's a challenge that I should, no, if just because it's a challenge for you, that means you have to do it.
Do it.
Like,
I think you would only know once you try it, and then yeah, I know that's so obvious, but it is true. Once you try, you'll be able to figure out, because I know that I could the more I post on stories or the more I post on feed, I get a lot of genuine conversations started in my DMs where they're depending on what I'm talking about.
don't like talking.
Yeah, I don't like DMing. I don't like
Yeah, I don't like texting.
yeah, I don't like texting. I was like, what is the word? Yeah, texting. I hate texting. But sometimes you have to do what you hate. I'm sorry, but if you want to scale at it, that's what I said.
know.
That's what I like to think about, is that I am doing a lot of things that I love so much. Sometimes I do have to do these little things that maybe I don't like as much, but they're gonna help me grow or scale better. But you find your way in that. It depends on person to person, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's one misconception that I definitely had, that you need to be both.
Hmm.
The second one is the part where you think, like, if you post, I don't know, one episode per month, it's enough, just because it's great content. But I remember we were we were in I don't know if we were in the same room, but it was like one of these podcasting events where the speaker was giving advice on podcasting, and somebody asked a question. I don't remember who it was. Like, if I post 20 episodes and it's not working out, like, should I continue or not? And I was really holding the laugh. I was like, really, if 20 episodes is your line, like,
then bro, come on.
Yeah. So one misconception I think that people need to know is that be real with, and knowing how many people you're competing with. In the whole podcasting world, in that podcasting space, in your region, be real with how many people you're competing with, and then start from there. If you feel that you have a chance of at least being on the same level, how much you have to what's the gap you need to fill, and start there. But don't just put a 10 episodes and then I'm going to no. Like, you ask me personally, my advice is post good content every day. Like, some people be like, no, I have to post every day, even if it's crappy content. I'm like, no, it has to be good content, and it has to be everything.
But if the only thing you have is crappy content, then also post that. The reason why I say that is because your thing about, can I really be successful if I'm only posting once a month? The thing is that, of course, you want to reach quality, but to reach quality, you need quantity first. And that means that the first set of content you post will not be the best. Maybe you think it's good. Of course, you should think it's good. Otherwise, why are you posting? Of course, you should think
or
it's
at
good.
least you should make effort for it to be
For
good.
it to be good, absolutely. But also don't overthink it. And
Yes.
I think that I also wouldn't have posted my content because I was so particular about, oh, did I pronounce this word? I feel like when you're talking so much, you sometimes, miss a word or mispronounce something.
And
I
you
was
don't
like, I don't
realize
want to
at this
post
part.
this. Yeah, and you don't realize it until you watch the video and you're like, that's how I talk. But but then you're like, but I had to force myself to post it because otherwise I would literally post nothing because I'm what 21 years old when I started. Of course, I'm gonna make mistakes during the conversation. That's normal, but I still need to post. So it won't be perfect, but it should be good enough for you to post and good enough for you to stay consistent at it until eventually you will realize what's working and what's not, and how do I improve quality and all of those questions. But those are not for the beginning. The beginning is for you to, of course, make good enough content and enough amount of content so that you can keep going. Um, there are examples, rare examples of people who only post, who when they started, they only post one podcast a month, and they're one of the biggest podcasters in South Asia. His name is Nikhil Kamath. He's a billionaire. He's an Indian billionaire. He started a podcast. He was already successful. He already had access to he did an episode with Elon Musk, and
Okay.
I don't know if he did Bill Gates. Probably he did. So he only posts one
Yeah, but
podcast a
this is you are
month.
starting up there
Exactly. He was already
because
starting
of the
up. It's
guests
very
he can
different.
bring to his
Yeah.
podcast.
So for him, it's okay. He already achieved quality very easy early on.
Yes.
But it's different for everyone else, and so you need quantity before you reach quality. And even if you look at the biggest podcasters, like the other Indian podcasters that I was talking about, on their short form on their page, just take a guess on how many short form reels they post in a single day.
Wow.
In one day, how many do you think?
3?
They post around 120 reels a day. Like around that number. It's probably like maybe it's a little more, maybe it's a little less.
100.
They post around 100 reels a day. They have multiple accounts as well, but I think in each account they're probably posting 40 at least. And I'm talking about the biggest podcasters. They have already reached a very big stage
All right, so what's the benefit of doing that?
because you need to be on people's minds constantly. That's the thing about social media, is that you constantly need to be putting up, there needs to be a large output, and for them, they have been able to achieve quality at scale. So that means now they're at a position where even if they're outputting 100 pieces of content a day, they're still
Still
doing
good,
it with
relatively good.
quality.
Yeah.
But for that, they needed to first post like a bunch of bad content, then improve on it, then improve that, and then make it at scale.
All right, let's say I'm part of Mahreen's team now, and I'm asking you, I think this is what's happening, and we have a couple of successful examples. Let's execute this strategy of
On
posting 40, yeah, let's post 40 reels
A day?
a day.
Okay. I mean, the way they do it, I don't even do that yet. Inshallah, I will get to that point.
Would you want to
Yeah,
do that?
for sure. That's my goal. I want to be able to post at least 20 reels a day. Like we post once a day. We were at a stage where we started posting twice a day, so that means 14 videos a week. Still, that's not enough for me. Like we need to be posting more, but then now I'm focusing on the agency side. I'm sure we'll get there. But that ultimately, especially in a podcasting space, you need that to grow. It's different
Wouldn't
for other
it,
content
so the thought that
creators.
comes to mind is, if let's say you post one per day, it keeps me excited to see your content instead of getting enough of your content.
That makes sense. That's what I would think. But you don't get all those 100 reels the same day. So, for example, that the Instagram divides it very well. Like you will only see me once today, and then you'll probably see my other reel tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow. Like a lot of these Indian podcaster reels that I'm seeing now, it's posted like a month ago, but I see it now. So it actually Instagram distributes it really well. You don't have to worry about that component of it. So for sure that's possible. The one of the strategies that they implement, one of the podcaster talks about it. He calls it the machine gun strategy, and what it means is, it sounds wrong actually, especially during this time, but what it
No,
means,
it's like,
yeah, that's what it means. Yeah. So what he does is, obviously, if you have a podcast, a current episode, you're posting as many clips. But the other strategy is that whatever is being talked about right now, you need to have a database of all your episodes, okay? So if right now someone's talking about Taylor Swift and that's going viral, you need to be able to quickly go to your old videos, even if that's 2 years ago, and you there was a moment in that episode at 5 minutes 20 seconds where you talked about Taylor Swift.
So
You create a
what
clip
would
of it.
be a good way to know that you had spoken to?
So we create tags. So like the way we save our episodes is on even on Google Drive, you can actually put tags on each file. So those tags are topics that were discussed
Time
in the
or trending?
we don't put the time, but oh, like in the episode, I mean.
Okay.
So like whatever was talked about in the episode, we used to do it on ClickUp. It's a productivity team management tool where you would create the name of the episode. So if I recorded an episode about real estate in the UAE, for example, that's the name with this person. The name, it's already recorded. This is the link. Then we'll create a list of tags for that episode about all the topics discussed.
That was
So
discussed.
real estate, UAE economy, this Taylor Swift, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then later on, whenever we need it, we can search it and we see all the episodes that's discussed.
Nice.
That's the system. We're still improving it. Like when I started doing this strategy, it was from memory. I would just remember that I talked about it in this episode, and I would tell my editor that, okay, take it from this episode.
Yes.
Until we made the system better. It's still improving. But for sure, people can create something like that. So that's their machine gun strategy. So half of the content they post are of the latest episode, and then the other half is repurposed content from like 2, 3, 4 years ago that they're posting. Make the most of your like this is a 1 hour 2 hour long episode, and maybe we post only 4 or 5 clips from this episode, but there's so much more that can still be utilized. So they kind of squeeze the full potential out of the episode that you can. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll start, looking at it that way.
Yeah, it's gonna be for sure helpful. Like for us, like when Eid came, there was an episode I did with Talha. He's a Kareem driver in the UAE, and one of my favorite episodes. And he talked about Eid in that episode.
And he wanted to give a gift, buy a car to his friend.
Yeah. Yes, I love that episode. But in that episode, he talked about Eid. It was not Ramadan, it was not Eid time, but he talked about Eid. So when later on, a few months later, Eid came, we took that reel and we posted it, and
Did
it worked
you
better.
remember that?
Yeah, we remember that we talked about Eid.
Wow. I'm trying to go through now the guests that I interviewed if we ever spoke about Eid. But maybe in Ramadan, those episodes that
for
I
sure.
filmed in Ramadan.
There must be something. And also, I think I only remember parts that left an impact on me. So that part I really liked. So probably that's why I remembered it. So then and the reel on Eid performed better on Eid than it did when I posted it 3-4 months before that. So it works. It definitely works.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I think I talked a lot. I was like just inundated you with like an explosion of
No, I mean this would definitely help me utilize my content that I already have in a better way.
Yeah, you for sure you have, like you've already recorded I don't know how many episodes. Like,
I think I'm around 70. I think
bro, 70, like that's crazy. That's almost 100. You're almost there. So you have like a bunch of content that's probably not utilized yet. Even for us, like it's underutilized, our own content. So yeah.
And I think another strategy to have a lot of content to put out is to film ahead.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like when I first started my podcast, I filmed 16 episodes before I launched my first episode.
Wow. Oh my God.
Because this is like, the podcast is like my third show. So, and my previous, it wasn't called podcast, but I guess it was because I basically had a show. It's called Movie Takeaways. And I basically take the great movies we've watched and dissect it and take out the personal development. takeaways from them. But it
Interesting.
takes so much time to
Effort.
prepare, and yeah, it takes me like so many hours, and I was working full time, so doing this together was
Didn't
like,
make sense.
yeah, my pace was slow. So
Hmm.
when I decided to do the podcast, I came with that mindset that this takes a lot of time, and I wanted to guarantee I'll be consistent.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I want to be 4 months ahead, at least in case of I get sick, I
Anything
go on a trip,
happens.
I don't know what happened.
Hmm.
There's always content coming out, no matter what. So I did the 16 episodes ahead of
Before you
and I would
released it.
advise it to anyone who wants to start creating content. Um, record a lot ahead of time. That will guarantee
Yeah, it's
your
definitely good advice.
consistency. But I don't think everybody's as patient.
But they have like they kind of have to force them
Yeah,
to be
hey,
like
that's
in a
why
way.
this is the part where you will find out, if this is for you or not.
Or not, huh?
Yeah, 'cause
Exactly. Like try it, you'll know.
I
Like if
think I think what is it? It's like once you pass the
I think
1,000.
I think it was 10th episode. You're amongst the like the 90%. Oh, after 20 episodes, you're on the
10%.
90% of. You're 10% of the podcasters. Yeah,
Crazy.
that's crazy actually. Yeah.
When you went to, or when you came second, or you won second place in the Ideathon, which was held by the Ministry of Culture.
In UAE.
Yeah, that ignited your energy for entrepreneurship. How was that link?
So I think the reason why I mentioned that because that competition itself wasn't that big of a deal for me, but and not as in I'm not undermining the competition. What I mean by it is that bef- that was when I was in my in college. I think it was first or almost second year of college, and I was in this routine that I was not enjoying because it was again boring. The classes were not as challenging. So there were a lot of things happening that was not making me challenged enough to do something and feel excited to do what I was doing. And so I think I got used to that routine. I got used to being lazy, maybe, or used to not putting as much effort as I would have liked. So that competition, and when we won it, and when we worked on it in the team, and we created this whole video, and we went to Abu Dhabi for it was like a fun experience. But that competition reminded me of what I enjoyed again. That like because we worked over the nights for it, and the sleepless nights, and I came back. And I remembered, oh, this is that feeling that I miss, like I haven't had this in so long. Where is this gone? What do I need to do to get this back? So I think that competition was a big deal for me in that regard. The ideathon was about how can you improve culture and community in UAE. So we made like this app for French, it's a matchmaking app, but for friendships. That was the concept behind it. Again, we didn't work on the app eventually, but it was just that motivation that I got. So the reigniting aspect of it came from that competition, and then I probably started Karak with Mehreen like a few months after that. So that's what I meant about how important that experience was for me.
You also were one of the 24 students selected for the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed scholarship program, right? That was through the American University of Abu Dhabi, or
New York University.
New York University
Yeah.
of Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Was it because of your grades you were one of the 24 students, or was there something else that helped you get selected?
So it's like applying to a university. It's like applying to any admissions program where you have to fill in like essays, you create essays, you fill in a whole application. One aspect of it is they check your transcripts, but the majority of it is the essays. So the essays is a lot of self-reflection, which any other university would also have. But these were more, it was very specific to, it was actually very broad, but because it was more about like, tell me about a challenge that you went through and how you overcame it. So it was very broad in that sense. You couldn't take any route with it, but but you had to be very self-reflective and evaluative of yourself. So it was a whole process that we applied to, and then there were interviews. Um, that's how I got selected for it. Yeah.
And was it that after that program that you went to San Francisco, Brazil, New York City, Egypt? Is there a
So
link?
so Brazil happened before. So these were a part of my university degree. I applied to Minerva, which is a university in San Francisco, and their concept is that they take you to a new country every semester to study in. And they were introducing that concept in Zayed University in Dubai. And so I chose to go to Dubai, but instead of doing every semester, you would go every year, once a year. So the first year we went to Brazil, the second year went to Egypt, and then when I joined the NYU program, that's when we went to the US. That was purely because of the NYU program.
All right, I want to know what were your learnings from each of those
Countries.
trips? Yeah.
Brazil, I think, I mean, now one of my closest friends are Brazilian, you know.
Shout out to Gabriel.
Yeah. But Brazil, I was so surprised because Brazilians are so similar to Pakistanis. Like, they are on the other side of the world, yet there's so many similarities between us. One most basic thing is food. Like, Brazilians love meat. Pakistanis love meat.
True.
Like Pakistanis, I know how much they love meat, but Brazilians is the exact same. Like they get offended if you talk about being a vegetarian. Like I remember when I went and I don't eat pork. So when I went and obviously I said I don't eat pork, they were so shocked. Also, there in that area there's not a lot of Muslims, so they were just like, "Are you vegetarian?" Like, because they couldn't fathom the fact that I'm not eating meat, and I was like, "No, it's just that I just religious reasons I don't eat." Okay, whatever, but that was one thing. The second thing was their how big of a family culture they have. And in Pakistan, we are a very collectivistic society. We are family oriented. It is not like the US, it's not like North America. We are very family oriented. We live with our families. Even after you get married, the son lives with them for like I don't know how many years. So, very family oriented. Brazil almost the same.
Okay.
And you know the jokes we make in Pakistan about we say saas, like the mother-in-law, that oh the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law having issues, like these are jokes in Pakistan, same jokes in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
So that was like a funny kind of learning that I had about their culture that I never thought of, because I was like, oh, they have to be completely different from us, but they were.
That's what I thought.
I would, yeah, same. So that was one thing. And the other things, they're so friendly, like, which I think, of course, in UAE people are so nice, and I loved growing up here, but you don't have that many experiences where you're sitting at a cafe and like someone's sitting next to you and you just start talking to them. I don't think I've had that many experiences in the UAE like that. In Brazil, even if I don't speak Portuguese, but everyone would want to be friends. Just like if they see you smiling at them, they want to start talking to you just for fun. So people are very open, extroverted, friendly, social. Yeah, that was a big thing in Brazil.
Nice. And your trip to Egypt, it was part of COP 20.
Yeah. So that was a part of COP27. I went 2 times, 1 week apart. So I went first for COP27, but a simulation of the COP. That was in Cairo. And then a week later, I came back to Dubai. A week later, I went again. That was for the real COP in Sharm el Sheikh. So Egypt was very fun because I think amongst Arabs, everyone says that Egyptians are like the funniest Arabs.
Yeah, probably they're the most extroverted.
Yeah, that's what I've heard people say. I didn't understand what they were saying, but I noticed that. Like there was once when we went, it was in Cairo when we went to eat kosheri, which I also love. there, and I had kosheri, and outside on the streets, it's not even like Eid or Ramadan or there was no celebration, but for some reason the workers of the restaurant came out. They started playing music on speaker, and they started dancing, and then other people started joining them, and they all, like, this whole crowd in the middle of the street started dancing. It reminded me of Punjabis in Lahore, to be honest. I feel like they're like that. But I was so surprised. I was like, what is happening? But I love it. So I felt like they have a more, I don't know, like let loose kind of vibe in Egypt. Even if you don't understand the language, they're just gonna dance, and
Yeah, us here in the GCC, we're more conservative in that sense.
it's different. Like everywhere, it's different, right? So that was new, and also it was super fun. Food gave me food poisoning, unfortunately. Very unfortunately. Even though I loved kosheri there, that was really nice. Um, and then other than that, Sharm el Sheikh, I think Sharm el Sheikh, most of my experience was just in COP27. So it wasn't an experience of Egypt. It was just an experience of the conference. So that was a different experience as well. Met really cool people. We went scuba diving in the Red Sea in Egypt. So that was
They're
wow.
famous for it.
Yeah, so amazing experience. But yeah, I wouldn't say I had too much of an Egyptian experience, if that makes sense. Cairo was more of that.
And then you
And
went
then
to New
US.
York
Yeah,
or
New
San
York.
Francisco? Okay.
So I went to New York, and then the year later, or I think it was that year itself, I went to San Francisco as well. But New York, I fell in love with New York. That was my second time in New York, actually. So New York is like one of my favorite cities, unfortunately, because I don't like the US. We all have our issues with the US, but New York, I love the energy of it. And when you walk on the streets, even when you're walking on the streets, everyone, for some reason, has like a mission that they have to get to. So they're walking so fast, they don't look right, they don't look left, they're walking. So even if they hit you and you fall off, they don't care, they're just walking straight. So it's that energy of like everyone being in a hurry to do what they have to do, and every single person having some kind of a dream. Like if I talk to the food person in the working in the food cart there, they have some kind of a dream to become an engineer or become a business, like
Which
start
is
a
kind of
business.
similar also with Dubai, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Like how people say that, you go into New York to start to get energy, to get inspiration and start something, and then maybe you leave New York and go somewhere else. A lot of people say that about Dubai. The only difference is that most people do end up staying in Dubai.
Yeah.
I feel, yeah. But in New York, I loved that energy, and it was like it was just bigger because it was more people, more, yeah, just bigger city. Um, yeah, I would love to live in New York, I think.
I had that dream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think I want that fast pace right now.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's why I want to live
But also it depends. This
on
will make me look so old.
old.
But when I was in my 20s, yes, it was my favorite
You're not in
city.
your 20s?
No,
What?
yeah. You can't be in your 20s forever.
Bro.
So yeah, but talk about the energy, absolutely. Like New York, definitely. Like you cannot snooze.
Yeah, you
You
can't
know?
snooze. Yeah.
You snooze, you're in a different lifetime. You know?
True.
But another thing is also you can just sit anywhere, you know, at the side step and just watch.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good
watch
thing.
life happen like so fast, and there's
What's-
so many going on.
And the different stories, and that's the beauty of it. Like when you're people watching, which is a weird term, but you're literally people watching, you realize how like there's so many different stories walking on the streets,
So many.
and you're only thinking of yours. But like even when I'm driving, I sometimes think of like all the cars passing by me, and inside every single car there's another story. There's another, like someone's running to the hospital, someone's going to a grave, someone's going to celebrate the birth of their nephew. So I think that also,
Someone's driving to lock a new deal.
Yeah, to lock a new deal or to start their business or whatever. So that also feeling you get that feeling in New York that you are just one small, little dot amongst all these people, but at the same time, each of these people have their own like universes inside of them as well. So it makes you small, but it also makes you big. I don't know how to explain it, but you get both feelings.
And I think it depends on you if you get um like terrified by that energy,
Yeah, true.
or
Or you
get
cherish it. Yeah.
or you get excited for it and it attracts you. Like, yeah, no, actually, I want to be inside
Yeah.
this chaotic.
Chaos. Yeah. I think it depends on age as well. Like I don't think I would like that forever. So I think this phase of my life is where I would enjoy that in. So yeah, the age for sure matters. Also, like you meet rude people in New York as well. Like we had that experience. Like I was in a group where one of the girls, a few of the girls were wearing hijab. So there were some random guys who came up to us and started saying, "Oh, Allahu Akbar," and started laughing.
Just like that.
Just like that. And then the other time we went to, so the whole program that we were doing in New York, you had to experience the different religions and cultures of the city. So we went to this Chinese temple or Buddhist temple, and this person enters, sees that there's Muslims, and he wasn't even a Buddhist. He just entered the temple and he started swearing at us. He didn't swear loudly, but he started whispering it, and he's like, "Oh, these Muslims." He started swearing at us, and then he leaves. So we had these bad interactions as well, which is the unfortunate truth of a city like New York. Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time I went, I was in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and they were telling me like, when you go to New York, it'll be everybody's rude, everybody, is aggressive, blah blah blah. And I had that, impression already in my head that
What's gonna happen?
that's what I'm going to, or what I was expecting.
Hmm.
But on the contrary, I remember, so let's say I had a meeting at 9 p.m. And so I went to like a restaurant next to where my meeting was at 8:30 p.m. and I'm just trying to kill time. So I went into this, it's like a place where probably they'll serve like steak and,
Mm-hmm.
like a high-end restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just freezing and I just wanted to get some tea.
Mm.
So I went there and I was like, I'll have Earl Grey. And then I have my tea and I finish and I'm about to leave and I want to pay. And then they asked me, what did you get? And I said, I got tea. And they're like, don't worry about it.
Huh?
And I was like, what do you mean?
Wow.
Like, no. Like, did you eat? No. Like, it's okay.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, this is the complete opposite. So there are nice people that
Nice people
exist.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that did happen to me once. Now that I
Also,
think about it, in New York, yeah, that's true. I don't know why forgot about that, but I remember when we went to a restaurant, like a crab place, lobster place. So we had like soup, lobster soup. So we had like a proper meal. And when we were gonna leave, and we asked for the check, he gave a paper which I thought was the bill, and he leaves. We open the bill, and he says, "Have a nice day," and he puts a smiley face, and I was like, where's the bill? So and then the guy, that waiter, wasn't even there. I think his shift finished as well. So I was like, he just did it
so
purely.
who paid for that?
I'm assuming the I don't know
The
the
restaurant owner, maybe, or the manager, you mean?
I don't know. I still don't know who would have paid for it. Like it has to be the restaurant itself, like the waiter, the manager, someone. But for no reason, because I didn't even have an interaction with the manager and the waiter. It was just like, "Oh, hi, how are you? We'll order this." Obviously, we were smiling and nice, but we didn't talk or anything. So
Yeah.
it was surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the person who was nice to me, it's not like, because there's people from all around the world there.
Yeah.
So it's not like we had a similar culture or anything. The guy
Yeah.
wasn't an Arab
True.
or yeah, like in any way, we were not the same
Yeah.
for
So
him.
I guess that's
But
like
yeah,
how in any other big city, right? Like
yeah.
you will find
And in
both.
bigger cities, you're gonna get a
More of it.
wider variation.
and you'll get different a
Yes.
wider variation of experiences and
Exactly.
opinions about it. So that's just the beauty of, but I the only the difference that because I would compare it to Dubai a lot, and for me Dubai, I would get that positive experiences, but the negative experiences, I mean, I'm saying this purely out of honesty, is that I don't get those negative experiences in terms of like people coming out on the streets and like discriminating
No,
against
that
me.
won't
Like,
happen. No.
never would I ever imagine that something like that would happen to me
True.
here. So yeah, that's the beauty of Dubai.
Yeah. I mean, also safety in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't know, you forget your phone, let's say on a bench.
Oh yeah, never in New York. Oh my
If,
God. That's what
if
I
you
was so
blink,
scared of. Like, I remember when I would go
even
out.
walking, you like probably
Yeah,
have to keep
I'm
your
like
hands in your
holding my
prayer
bag like this and I'm walking.
and you
So
have to walk fast.
yeah, and I would never take my phone out to check the location. I would just memorize it because it's actually easy to walk around New York. You can just memorize the avenue and the street. Just memorize
Once you
it,
get to
put
that,
it in,
yeah,
and
street.
then
Yes.
halas, even if I forget, I don't care. I'm not gonna take it out on the streets for sure. So yeah, pros and cons.
How was that different to maybe your experience in San Francisco?
San Francisco is more relaxed, even though it's the tech hub of the world, but it's a lot more chill because, and also there's the sea, the water. There's like so it's people like going next to the beach and the water area and chilling there. The buildings are more low rise buildings. It's not like New York. It's also not as New York is dirtier, but the buildings are not as modern as New York. So it felt more relaxed. But when you go into specific areas is where you see, oh, like this is where the exciting things happen. Like there's specific buildings where there are floors, and those floors are just crazy startups that are there. Like some of the people that I met there are like working on billion-dollar I remember I went there for a podcast actually, um and she was the podcast host was telling me that the guy that you just met, like he's running like a billion-dollar company. I was like, oh, okay. Wow. So you would never know who you stumble upon there. So there's specific areas that it's like all the magic happens, but the rest of it is very chill but very unsafe, like
Really?
very very unsafe.
Okay.
Because in I feel like New York would be more unsafe, but for some reason in San Francisco I felt it a lot more because I felt more like at night there was less people, so I felt more unsafe, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Because I would feel like, oh, what if someone comes from somewhere, and there's specific streets
of course.
that's like they're like known for homeless people. Like it's full, like it's you can't even stand there. It's crazy. So um because of these all of these things I felt unsafer there. But still I would live mostly in Palo Alto, which is like 45 minutes I guess from the city of San Francisco. I still enjoyed the people that I met. The people are like, wow, like I'm still friends with some of them. They are some of the best people I've ever met. Very curious people, very there's the same age as me, but their mindset just made me question a lot of things. By question, I mean like there are things that you believe in that you don't question. It's just there. But they made me question that, which I feel like living in an environment, the same environment over and over again, you don't question things that you believe in. Like religion. And I'm not saying like religion is wrong or anything. I'm also a proud Muslim. But a lot of things of religion, you just accept. This is the one thing in your life that you are born into that you will never question because you just think that's it is what it is. But Islam also encourages you
It
to
does
question.
encourage
Yeah,
actually.
it encourages you to learn more about the religion actually, so that, and the point of questioning is not so that you run away from the religion. It's actually so that you understand it
And
more, so you
appreciate it.
accept it like
Yeah.
better and appreciate it better. So a lot of these questioning components, San Francisco gave that to me, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So you made some friends in San Francisco, but along your journey, you did lose some friends.
The nice transition. Wow. Nice transition there.
So tell me, of course, it's a tough topic. but what are the stages that you felt you lost friends? What do you feel caused it? How do you process that?
I think when it comes to friends, I feel like I was always very picky about it, even when I was in high school, because it was very hard for me to be amongst a group of people that makes made me feel satisfied or fulfilled, or just that I'm enjoying
Being around.
being around them, right? It was very hard for me to find that. I did there are like I have two best friends. They were my neighbors when I was like 2 years old. We've been best friends since. Those friends are like constant. But other than that, like in high school, in school, in university, I think that was one thing that was always difficult. It was a challenge for me always. And I always had people that I liked and who liked me. uh, like I did have that, but when it comes to good close friends that I would want to hang out with, that was very um that was hard for me. And the ones that I did have, I remember in university I had a couple of friends, had a great time in the beginning, and also it's a new environment. I was living in Dubai, a new city for me. So the new people, so I was enjoying it a lot. But slowly you start to realize that, okay, like am I enjoying this because it's new and exciting, or am I enjoying it because like they're actually good friends,
Mm.
so after a year is when I started to make that distinction.
Wow, that's
Um,
very important.
yeah, and so when I made that distinction, it was very easy for me to, when I felt bored and lonely, to just like message those people again and just hang out with them again. But I had to intentionally, especially when I was living alone, I felt even more, lonely in that sense. So I had to very intentionally be like, no, I need to like distance myself from these people, and I need to slowly start to find new group of people that I actually want to spend time with. It was so long for me to actually find that group of, so
Yes.
long. Like it was after I started Karak with Mehreen, some of the guests that I had, I became friends with them. And then but I didn't even become friends with them instantly. It was like a few months down the line we started hanging out, and as we started hanging out, I'm like, oh, they're great. Like, and they have this growth mindset, and it's the kind of vibe that I'm looking for, and I started making friends. But that was that period between having friends, choosing to distance myself, and then finding new ones, is like it feels like forever. So you do feel lonely in that period. But maybe I was a little used to it because my high school was kind of like that. I had people that I could talk to, but I would not go out and hang out with them that much. So
Because you're
maybe
too busy studying.
well, one is that, of course. And number two is I just didn't want to. Like I didn't feel like they're the kind of people I want to hang
Mm.
out with. Not that they're bad. That's the thing that I always
Yeah,
try
being
to,
different doesn't mean bad.
like they're not bad. They were really nice, kind-hearted people. A lot of them were kind-hearted people that cared for each other, but that's not necessarily the people that you want to be with. So not that I don't want to be with nice people, but I wanted more than that, is what I mean. So yeah, friendship is always like, even now it's like it's an fluctuating thing. But I do have my constants, like the two friends that I mentioned who are my neighbors. I do have that. So maybe that's why I have been sane.
At least you have those two friends to hit up
Yeah,
whenever you're down or
yeah.
you something you need to talk.
But then a lot of these experiences that I had, like the NYUAD, like two girls from there, now they're like one of my closest friends. The two people from San Francisco, until now, we don't talk every day. They live in France, but like really good people that I think the questioning thing that I'm talking about, I got it from them. They really pushed me in that regard. So I did find small groups and pockets of people here and there that now I can feel content with. Takes time though,
Yeah, and I think the older you get, the more
the harder it becomes.
I don't know if it's the harder it becomes or the more you realize how valuable it is to
Hmm.
have great people around you,
Oh yeah,
and you
true.
realize how rare it is.
To find the great
Yeah,
people.
it's like diamonds.
Hmm.
You know, you'll not just get it laying on the surface.
Hmm.
You know, you'd have to keep digging, and every once in a while you get lucky and you get a diamond.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you get older, you understand the value of that diamond, and you channel more of your effort into
Into you have to also take
looking
care of
after of
it.
it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely have to take care
yeah,
of the diamond, which is another component of
yeah,
it. Like I think one aspect is finding people, the other aspect is maintaining the good people.
yeah.
I'm also not good at that because I don't I hate texting. I don't like yeah, I don't like calling people. I call people but not like I don't regularly do that where I have to like update them on what's happening in my life. So that's another component of it that I had to learn, especially with the people that I became friends with who are in France and with my NYU friends who I don't meet every single day. I'm improving, but I think they also understand it, which is why it
Which
works.
is the
They're also
beautiful part.
busy,
They
like
don't judge.
yeah, and they also have a life of their own. They understand that we don't have to talk every single day to be friends, you know. So yeah.
All right. On a final note, from your perspective, what is the high performance mindset?
What is the high performance mindset? I think a lot of people, when they think of high performers, they think they're very confident, right? They think, they believe in themselves. They have that confidence to believe in themselves. They know what they're doing, and I think that's where I want to make the distinction: is someone who is high performing and has the confidence to believe in themselves. That confidence is not that the ability to know is that they know what they're doing and that's why they're confident. No, it's that they don't know what they're doing, but they still choose to do it and to figure it out. That's where the confidence comes from. It's from the consistent action that you're taking. And the fact that you didn't know, but then were able to figure it out, that's where it comes from. Like the confidence is choosing to do it without knowing what will happen from it, without having any clue. I think a lot of high performers have that strength to take that. It's risk taking, basically. So to have that risk, to take that risk. And then the second thing, which I know I've mentioned before, everyone mentions it, but it is always true, is the consistency component of it. There is no shortcut, there is no alternative, there's no replacement. You have, like, all these high performing people, they're so consistent to the point they're obsessed with it, and you have to find that, I
Is there
think.
a way to be consistent without being obsessed with it?
That's what I'm figuring out now at this stage, because there are things that I'm doing at this stage now that I'm not particularly obsessed with, but I know that this is what will bring me to a stage that I'm getting at later on. So that's why I have to force myself to be consistent at it. So maybe ask me this like a year from now, but I know I think that's why you need to have that bigger purpose. Like if you have that bigger purpose, bigger ideas, even if you don't like exactly what you're doing now, you will still be consistent at it. But again, you can ask me this a year from now because I'm also figuring that aspect out now.
All right, I remembered two things that I wanted to ask you and I didn't. The first one was, so since you're in fourth grade, you wanted to be the president student
Mm.
council.
Mm.
Why do you feel you wanted to become that? You later became that, but why do you feel that
Mm.
looked appealing to you?
So I think a lot of what you aspire to be, it is you see it,
You're exposed to
you're
it.
exposed to it, exactly, in some way or the other. And I was exposed to, like, I think the president at that time, she was someone who got into NYU. She was like, the way she articulates herself was so well, she was very well articulated. She was also very kind, like she wanted to help people. So when I saw her, is probably where it came from. It definitely, I was exposed to it. That's one aspect of it. And number two is that I think I liked the idea the way I said that, I like to help people in some way. I liked creating things that would help people. Um, so whether that's like through school or like through I used to host a lot of events. So I would organize like Model UN conferences and other kinds of events. Because I knew that in the end of it, people would like I'm creating something that people love, and it's helping people in
Would
some way or
benefit.
the other, would benefit from it. So I think I associated presidency to that I will get more of an opportunity to do it. And ultimately, it's also status. I'm sure that was a part of it where I was like, oh, I'll be the president of the council for sure. Status must have played a role in it as well.
Is there a good way of looking at status and a bad way of looking at status?
I think it can keep you um, motivated or like keep you going to some extent. But if it's only status that you're looking for, then you'll lose it halfway or you will lose halfway because if it's just obsessing over the status of becoming a manager or a president or a CEO, when you achieve that, you will realize you'll probably enjoy it for like 5 minutes or like, or an hour. And then you'll realize like, I'm still the same person. So I think that's probably not the best thing to be striving for because it's so temporary. Status is very temporary and it can be taken away from you in a second. So that's not, again, when I say bigger picture, bigger mission, that's not it. It can play a small role in it, but it's still not the bigger picture.
All right. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you about is about your TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And why are you, or why do you want this? Because you did mention that if you cannot create content, then you should control the content you consume. So
Oh, you
why?
watched it? Wow.
Yeah, because it's actually towards the end, I think.
Yeah, in the end, yeah, I said that. No.
Why should we be concerned about the content we consume?
That's a whole, like, I think another hour of a conversation. But to summarize, I think even in my TED talk, the whole point of what I was trying to say was that we don't realize, but every single little thing that we get exposed to creates some opinion, thought in your subconscious mind. You grow up hearing so many different things, seeing so many different things that eventually you don't realize like that like for example, you grew up seeing like a pilot in a movie and that was embedded in your mind that, oh, like that looks cool. Then later on you met a pilot and you found that cool, and then later on and when you grow up you're like, oh, I want to be a pilot. You feel like it came from you, within you, but actually you were exposed to a lot of these little seeds. So these little seeds that you consume every single day play a huge role in what you think. And that's the same
Positively and
in
negatively.
both ways. And that's the same thing with content, especially with content, actually, because you're consuming it 6 hours a day on average. So obviously, that's gonna mess up all your thoughts, emotions. And now, a lot of opinions that we have are not even ours, they're like borrowed from other people because we're hearing 24/7, we're hearing someone shove their opinion on us. That's why
And what our opinion should be.
yeah,
It's
and what our
constantly
opinion should be,
pushing
absolutely.
towards what opinion we should have.
Yeah. So that's why the content we consume with, and it's not just social media content, it's even movies. I'm so picky with movies now. Like I tell my family if they want to watch some I was gonna say garbage, but terrible movie, I'm not gonna join them because I know how I feel after the movie. It is either I feel like I wasted my time or I feel like I have all these like movies about cults and stuff. I don't get why I would watch something like this unless it's like motivating me to do something. Why would I watch a movie on that? So all of these things, they do mess up with your mind and with your thoughts and with your motivation and with the actions that you take. And it's also a waste of time. Like most of the content we consume is just a waste of time at the end of the day. Um, and I gave examples in the TED talk as well, like how it impacted me, like the colorism component. I'm brown, so growing up, a lot of people would compare me with my sister who is fair. So that was I thought, oh, like being brown means you're not beautiful. That was a big thing in me, until I started seeing content of brown girls, starting businesses and doing makeup, and they looked so pretty. And slowly that mindset shifted. So, of course, content can also be good. So you have to control what you see.
So how can we control the content?
That's so
I mean,
hard.
it's such a
Yeah,
mundane question,
but
but
it's a valid question.
like help me out and walk me through it so we can visualize ourselves taking those actions.
So for me, I've tested different ways. One way, especially before I started, or like early on of Karak with Mehreen, was I would delete my Instagram. Easy. I would just delete my Instagram around 2 weeks at least, and I would use it on my laptop. But it was not consistent. Like I couldn't do that all the time, especially because I wanted to see the views and comments, and which is also another problem. That was another cycle. But anyway, but I still needed to control my consumption. So I did that. It's not consistent. You can still do a detox. The other way, which I'm doing right now in this very moment, which has been very good for me, is I download an app that will lock my Instagram. It's
Me
called
too.
OneSec.
Okay.
Yeah, I maybe use brain rot.
Yes.
That's a very common one.
I
But
only started like maybe this is my second week almost or second week
yeah,
and already shaved off at least an hour
yeah,
on an average per day that I'm not
that you're
using
spending. I feel
uh,
like, yeah.
on the phone, which an hour for me is like a 26%
Oh, okay. So it's significant.
significant
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
definitely.
And the benefit is not just the time, it's the bandwidth.
Yeah,
You have more mental clarity, less anxiety, less cortisol.
yeah. Mental energy that
Yeah.
you can be spending somewhere else for sure. Like I remember I was going through this phase where I was literally like glued to my phone. When I was brushing my teeth. It's embarrassing. I was brushing my teeth and I was on my phone. So it was so bad.
And they're built to keep us
Hooked.
like hooked, like
Technically,
addicts.
that's what I do as well. I'm keeping like that's what I try to do with my
Like, hey,
content.
hooked on good
But like
content.
good
Let's
content,
go.
I'd like to say. But yeah. So I downloaded one
Only
sec.
two things you can get addicted to is having Karak and watching
And
Karak with Mary.
Karak with Mehreen. That's a good thing. If you're doing that, you can do it for hours, no problem. um, but yeah, I downloaded one sec.
Okay.
I think this is the most successful strategy for me so far
Me too.
because it locks my app. And honestly, I think in the past month, I have barely scrolled on my Instagram, like barely. Like even, I don't know if you want to include this, but they announced the ceasefire and this stuff. I didn't even know that that was announced because
I keep missing out, and my friend keeps telling me, "You don't know what's happening. You're missing out."
I'm like, I get updates from
"Yeah,
you
you're
guys.
telling me, telling me what's
It's
happening.
fine.
Great."
Yeah,
Like,
but then of course I do read like every now and then.
anyways, who's telling me the truth? Anyways,
That's another good point. What do we like?
okay, yeah, I know a lot of false information. Like,
So, what does it matter at this point, right?
I'm hearing taking all of this, and then the opposite
On
happens.
the other side. Yeah, that's the crazy part, right? Like a lot of what we're seeing is not even what ends up happening. So why overwhelm yourself with like I don't want to say that you shouldn't
Especially
be
when
up
it affects you
yeah.
and how
I
you go or operate
about
in
your
your day.
day.
Yeah.
True. I do want to be updated on this. So like I do check on Google News. But again, it's not the same as like scrolling through your socials.
Yeah.
So that most successful strategy
I think
so
I pick
far.
like one account where I get an idea of what's happening, whether it's true or
Oh
not.
yeah,
But
and
at
then
least I know a little bit.
of what's happening.
Yeah, But
I
that's
read
it.
through Al Jazeera.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's less biased because I don't. I also see the Western media, but I feel like it's more biased.
I think one strategy would be just thinking out loud, right? Is because if you watch BBC or CNN, that's one opinion. You watch Jazeera, is one opinion. You watch RT, is one opinion. you watch all, you're gonna get an idea.
Yeah, overall idea at least.
Because you're gonna get complete opposites.
Yeah.
And these opposites, which is what propaganda is basically arrangement of facts.
Yeah.
So in order to land at a particular conclusion. So the facts that one channel is showing you is different from the other news channel.
Yeah.
And then I would say you can watch more news channels as long as they're different, not feeding you the same
thing.
angle.
Which is actually, so it's better to be, because when you're intentionally looking for these articles on both sides, you will find them on Google. But on social media, the social media feeds on
what you're interested.
Yeah.
Or what will make you,
Exactly. It's like the
more.
Confirmation bias, right? Like you, when you have an opinion on something, you will only look at the facts that matches your opinion, and you kind of ignore the other ones. It's just how our brains work. Instagram feeds on that. It loves the fact that you have that, so it will keep on feeding you only content that you already like, because then it knows that if it puts a video that's the opposite of what you think, most probably you're not gonna watch it, or you're gonna skip it, or you're not gonna like it. And so because of that, it will give you what you like, which is wrong, because you should be open to understanding both sides. We're not experts. Why are we entitled to only knowing one side? We should know both sides to have a conclusive and unbiased opinion. So yeah, I guess that also helps when you block off social media.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you said 1 sec?
1 sec, yeah.
1 sec.
It's
works.
free. I think Brainrot is paid, right? Is it free?
Not yet. I'm not getting charged yet, but I think so. It's paid.
I thought it was paid. Okay.
I think you have per week or per month.
Okay.
But what I like about it is you don't go through this complete shutdown, because the science, in Brainrot, how they built it is that so you don't have this counteraction of you oppressing yourself from it, and then boom, you're
do
like
something
opposite, you overconsume, and the whole detox part, I did it before starting not the podcast but my previous show. I went 2 weeks before, deleted Instagram. But ever since, when you're a content creator, you have to be on it. You have to know what's happening. So that is not an option, but you need to manage your time spent on it. And with Brainrot, it makes you choose. Each time you get on it, you choose how many minutes you're going to be on it.
Yeah, same.
And if you're saying, I just want to check my DMs, right, and respond maybe.
You don't need an hour.
No. So I put 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when 5 minutes, I respond maybe to a message, or I don't, and I just get hooked into one video. But as soon as that 5 minutes is over, boom, it closes. I'm like, whoa, hey, I was in the middle of the video. Hey, 5 minutes over. So, and then maybe the next 5 minutes will be more intentional.
Yeah.
And you will respond and get off.
Yeah.
But I love it that it stops me instead of me disappearing for 45 minutes, not knowing where it happened, where it went. And then you're like, oh, snap, I need to be here, or I need to go here. I'm supposed to do this. This will stop you from doing that. And you won't feel like you're really missing out. You don't feel like you're oppressed yourself or any of that.
I feel so much better.
So I highly recommend whatever app you're going to use, but use these apps. They're
super effective.
Very effective.
For sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much for
this
today.
was great. It was very deep conversation right off the bat.
Yes.
From the first question.
I didn't expect. Not in a bad way. It's just, you never expect who you would
for sure
have it easy to communicate with. You just don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because whenever you're meeting or we're meeting, is always very briefly, hey, how's it going? All right, cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Or at least, I don't know. I'm not very...
No, it's different in
events.
I
have 2 sides.
I think it's different in events because it's like you only meet the person for like a few minutes and then you
and plus we're not there to hang out anyways.
Yeah, it's like an event. You're meeting
especially for us, we're probably working.
Yeah. So it's different, definitely. And the podcast that you were in with me and Karak with Mahreen,
Yes.
with everyone. That was a different topic, different,
Yes.
and there were 3 other people.
Yes.
So it was different vibe. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Amazing.